We're going to get to most of the interview, but we'll air the rest of it tomorrow, 11 a.m. But I brought up this guy that told these fairy tales, and I asked Governor Ventura, wouldn't it be best for him to go ahead and go public now before he's under oath? Here it is.
Yeah, I agree totally that it would be in his best interest to tell the truth. Absolutely, that this thing never happened and that it's all fabricated, because the longer it goes on, the worse and worse it's going to be.
Wow. Well, Governor, thank you so much. You've got our hotline numbers here throughout the week. Anytime you've got points you want to make, and I know you're down there to exercise and to take a few months off before you come back. And I know you're down there writing another book that's coming out later this year. But what a way to start 2012. They are. I mean, something similar happened to me, and you know it's staged when suddenly it's all over the Dallas Morning News, Denver Post, national TV within minutes. You know, extras calling you. But I was out there protesting Obama in 2008 at the DNC because I knew he was going to be the same as Bush. And Michelle Malkin shows up, and these people start screaming, "Kill Michelle Malkin," and getting behind me and leaning down behind me. And they had cameras. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And they had masks and hats on. And then I saw them leave with Malkin, and I was like, "What was that?" And then the headlines were out within hours that I was saying, "Kill Michelle Malkin," leading a mob. And I had people saying, "Your career is over. You're saying kill women." Thank God we were able to upload video. I threatened to sue a bunch of people, and all retracted but the Dallas Morning News, but that was enough to discredit them. And they tried to say I was saying kill a woman, Gov. So I've had them do similar stuff.
Let me just say this, Alex. I won't threaten.
Well, it's just amazing.
If you get what I just said, if you got what I just said to you, I won't threaten it.
You sound pretty mad at Chris Kyle.
Well, I didn't even know his name until you told it to me today. That shows you how distant this whole thing is. I don't even know who he is. I have no idea if I've ever met him, because, you know, when I go out there, you meet many other SEALs that weren't of your era, and, you know, "Hi, how you doing?" You shake hands or whatever it might be, or they come up to you, because I know for many times I was there always with Rudy Bosch, you know, Chief Bosch from Survivor. And we would be so inundated with picture taking that we would sit and laugh, and Rudy and I would say, you know, we need to get those cardboard cutouts so everyone can stand next to us and get their picture taken, and that way we can go over and enjoy and have fun. Because it would take, you know, at that point Rudy was red hot because he was the original Survivor show and all that. And so that would go on. So there has never been a time at any SEAL event that I've gone to where I've felt threatened, where I've been assaulted, where anything bad has ever happened to me. And, you know, being flattened or knocked down into in a bar 5 years ago, you would think I could remember that, Alex. You'd think that would make an impression on me, but it hasn't.
But we know, because I've seen you with troops and had you on my show 50 times and seen in other shows, you always say, "My heart goes out to those dying because of these lying politicians. It's so horrible." I mean, you would never say something like that. I've seen you talk about your mom and dad and get a tear in your eye. I mean, that is such a load of venomous garbage. And I want to close with a quote here of an advisor to Fox News and one of their main political correspondents in an interview with the New York Times Magazine, October 17, 2004, when Karl Rove said, "In what we call the reality-based community," which he defined as people who believe the solutions emerge from your judicious study of discernible reality, that, quote, "That's not the way the world really works anymore," he continued. "We're an empire now, and when we act, we create our own reality. And while you're studying that reality judiciously, as you will, we'll act again, creating other new realities, which you can study too, and that's how things will sort out. We're history's actors, and you, all of you, will be left just to study what we do." My dad last night was over for dinner, and he said this reeks of Karl Rove, who lives here in Austin, by the way, and regardless, they think they can just tell the public something, and that makes it reality, like Obama saying dropping bombs all over Libya is not a military action, but is a kinetic action. They think just because they roll some punk out to say something that makes it true, Governor.
Well, absolutely, and it doesn't make it true. And when I come back and get back up there, in fact, before I get there, the ball will be rolling. I'm doing what I can do to clear my name, and I'll do whatever it takes to do that because, I'm the kind of guy, Alex, I'll be happy to admit when I do something, but I don't want to be credited with things that I don't do. And I would think this guy wouldn't want to be credited also with assaulting me. He never did it. It never happened, and why? Somebody needs to ask him why he's telling this story because it's not true.
Well, I tell you, Gov, this is going to boomerang on them because they crafted the most vicious lie they could and sold it as if it was absolute truth from the beginning because they are concerned about you. They are scared of you with a third-party run or if somebody picked you for a VP. They know you've been talking behind the scenes some to the libertarians. And they're concerned, so they put something out saying you were glad that Navy SEALs were dead in front of their family, the most sickening thing you could say to military people. When they made their move on you, they did it when you were out of the country. They forged the most wicked lie they could, and you say you will defend yourself. You're not stupid. You've got to. You're not going to probably, the way they're hyping it, do very well from this unless you absolutely go after these people, and you know that. And so God knows what's coming next if they're going to move with something this dangerous.
Yeah, I don't know, Alex, but I'll be on my toes. I have to admit, though, this one caught me off guard. I never expected to be hit with what they hit me with.
Oh, they're going to make up a lie. If they're going to make, well, listen, Ty was telling me that that you were talking about, it's kind of arcane, but being an expert on the JFK assassination and covering it at your hit TV show for True TV, and people can read your statements, by the way, at The Real Jesse Ventura on Facebook. We're linked to the statement at Infowars.com. The article is exclusive. Jesse Ventura blast Navy SEAL punch hoax as a total lie. You talked about, but in your own words, and I know you got to go, that this is like them mailing a rifle, the Carcano, from Chicago to Dallas when you could buy a gun anywhere with no registration in 1963. You said, what are they going to start mailing guns from Chicago to you down in Baja, Mexico?
I don't know, but always remember, Alex, they said that Oswald was in Mexico while they also said he was at a shooting range. And so I'm getting accused of doing all these things. Do you think there's a double of me? There's that famous book, Lee and Harvey. I believe Armstrong is the author. Do you think that they have a double of me out there that's causing all this trouble?
Well, you know what? That is the exact kind of stuff they do. You know what they did to Garrison? He'd be in an airport and walk in the bathroom, and men would start trying to grab on him, and there'd be police waiting right there. I mean, look, they're doing a whole bunch of this stuff to Ron Paul, too, right now. They put out a fake video saying it was his, making fun of Asians. Fox, CNN all took it, and it turns out now it goes back to one of the people he's running against, and they're even bragging about it. That's how dumb they think the public is. So pray for Jesse Ventura, pray for Ron Paul, pray for me, because, folks, we're not perfect, but we're not under the globalist insiders' control, and that's why we're wild cards, we're loose cannons. The system is scared of us. Governor, thank you so much.
Okay, one last thing, Alex, one last thing. I want to state on your show first. My wife and I are not suicidal. We're in great health. We're good drivers, and we don't have Twitter. So anybody that says that I've Twittered anything, you know as well as I do, I don't own a cell phone. And you got to own a cell phone to Twitter. So anything done on Twitter is also false. But again, Alex, we're not suicidal. We're in good health, and we're very good drivers.
Well, you and your wife are very smart, so I don't have to tell you something you don't know. But for some of the new audience who may not understand, I told Ty the same thing off air. I said, sometimes they do a really bad demonization, and then they kill you so that you can't defend yourself. So I'm glad you got this out here. And please, viewers and listeners, make sure you get this out to everybody out there, because if they can destroy Jesse, folks, we got to stand together or hang separate, as Ben Franklin said. That's why we got to stand with Governor Ventura against this outrageous lie, because they'll get away with it with Ron Paul or anybody else that comes out in the future. We've got to stand with Governor Ventura right now. I mean, look at how they shut down that episode of Police State FEMA camps. That's most of the interview. I ran out of time. I'll have a little bit more tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central. Great job of the crew. And again, Jesse came on and said, yes, we must stand together. They can destroy me. They can destroy anybody. God bless you all. Infowars.com. We'll post the full interview.